So, Stevie, welcome, an old football friend and a new senior football manager. We
All
will
right, Richard.
talk to you about your escapades and your new role with Goodyear. But before that, we have to learn about the boy and the man that is Stevie Casey.
Fair enough.
So, how you keeping first and
I
foremost?
remember. What do you say?
Yeah, how you keeping first and foremost?
Yeah, 100%. Same old. Flat
Anticipating
out
all week.
football and family life.
Good man. And we're joined this week by Tots. Thankfully, the technology didn't beat him.
Not in the end.
Nearly.
Very good. So
Check
we go.
complete. Check complete.
What do you say?
Check complete.
Check complete. We'll get there. We'll talk about VAR.
I'm
That's for
sick of
sure.
talking about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Very controversial.
Live pool is what I was getting last week, and now it's changed.
Just have to let it go, Richard.
We'll let it go. Listen, we'll talk about your
That's
heartbreak
fine.
initially, Stevie. So, for people who don't know, let them know, what football team do you support, and who was your inspiration growing up?
Man United has to be Man United, you know. Growing up, Maradona probably because he was my dad's idol. As an 80s child, sort of grew up in the 90s, so 90s was probably the original Ronaldo.
The original
Later
Ronaldo,
days, all the rest is definitely the CR7 as a United man. Don't get me wrong, Messi's good, but mine was definitely Ronaldo.
Oh, there's a debate. There's a debate.
That's it. That's my opinion.
All right,
Just
let's
as you
put that
know, more
debate straight to bed.
You're just saying as a Liverpool man, though.
Absolutely. So, R9 really, is that's your go-to? Is it for Maradona and R9?
Maradona probably cutting it, but your earlier days, United man, maybe George Best, but never seen him actually playing. But
yeah,
maybe Giggs as well. I love Giggs in the early days.
So would have fancied yourself a left winger in your youth?
I would have been right wing or left wing, yeah, either or.
And throw it back then, there's a room full of Sunnyside men here as we sit here talking. Bring us back to your earliest football and playing days. Your memories of kicking me up and down Anhill Park.
Early days, grew up in Woodville Street, so you're right next to Anhill Park. Me and Ryan Henderson were probably inseparable that time, just football mad. Later on, just knew yourself, kicking about from club, sort of. Sunnyside was only real ones for us at that age. I think I'd done a few ventures to Lurgan Town and back. Played with a load of people that you'd all know, Mickey Doyle, David Scullion, Irish League player. Big Kieran Fox played that year. Well, good squad actually. And then went back to Sunnyside again to my teens. And then was senior football from there, Richie.
Yeah, so what about the youth football? You mentioned some good players there. Any standout memories from Stevie the Kid, the Flan Weir?
Can't really remember that far back, if you know what I mean. But football wasn't as organised back then. Richie, there's weeks you had a match, weeks you didn't. Frustrating for managers more than anything. Likes of Billy Ganley, Harry McAreevy, just name a few, you know, probably giving up their salaries. Could have been working, earning. Give their time up for us. They had sometimes there's probably lack of referees, which I heard actually happened again. That's on Saturday. Could be a worry.
Yeah. It's been an issue, an ongoing issue in the Mid-Ulster, the refereeing thing. And then, in fairness, you talk about refereeing, any bloody wonder. You know, the campaign to respect the referees, and we all know it is a difficult job to do, but culture of football doesn't serve it well.
I wouldn't do it for diamonds, that's the truth.
I done it briefly.
I was going to say, I could see you refereeing again.
Very brief.
People know the game, maybe makes that a wee bit easier.
What do you say, Tots?
Sorry, did you do a couple of games yourself? Like, did you actually go into like the Mid-Ulster League or reserves?
I did. I refereed a couple of games in Mid-Ulster Division 3 and 2.
Did you, right?
Did.
I think you might have done a game I played in, Richie.
I think it probably most likely did. Derry Harker, Goodyear, or who was it?
It might have been later on, Lurgan Thistle or somebody, or Lurgan United maybe.
Lurgan United, maybe. They say it was a brief few years ago now, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago now.
But I would have been my later days then, Eben.
Yeah. I I only done it for a couple of games. I enjoyed refereeing the youth football, but whenever the left backs and right backs of the reserve division 3 and 4 were telling me I was a bad referee, I was probably a better fullback than they were, and I was the referee, so it was frustrating, you know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for me. Although I would recommend any manager does do a refereeing course and does referee games.
Understand how hard it actually is.
Absolutely. I had a newfound admiration for them.
I'm going to say this all to you now on a Tuesday, and then say come Saturday, I'm going to be a lunatic again on the sideline. It's just the adrenaline, some sort of relief.
No, that's it.
Try
Brilliant.
not to curse though.
Exactly. And you're talking about the old coaches from way back when, Billy Ganley and Harry McAreevy and boys like that have all obviously heavily involved with boys like that. We're now, Stevie, me and you, Tats just won't take the managerial coaching roles.
Yeah.
No,
We're doing what them guys were doing at our age, at their age, at our age now.
Totally.
With their young families, and they were committing just like we were now. So I think it's great that we're actually walking in the same footsteps as them people that give us the platform,
Yeah, totally.
So, was there a coach or a manager that you would have looked up to, sort of when you were coming through? Like, was there one that sort of gave you that sort of bit of inspiration? That
it would have been later on more so. I can't really remember earlier days. It was just more about keeping. We grew up and the troubles were bad. It was more to keep fat people, something to do, and you couldn't have really had that many games because you couldn't go certain places maybe, back then as such. Lurgan Town managers were actually very good to me. Stephen Greenaway would have been one, Brian Gordon namings, always made you feel welcome, and you were obviously going the other end as such, where Lurgan was so divided, but you were treated like one. And then you went to Sunnyside. Later on, you probably had the likes of Jared McNally then, man. These lads give up, as Richie pointed on there, absolutely everything to us, and we were probably the chickiest bunch ever growing up. I'm sure they'll say that, all right. Or a wild. A good wild. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Say Jared's still floating about there, Damien's still floating about doing their thing.
Funny, I seen them in the Goodyear one night. We were having to do for the lads, sort of a get together or such, but I'm sure we'll go into that later.
Yeah. No, brilliant. So you say you went from Lurgan Town, your youth years probably a standout for you, and then into senior football. I know for a fact you played for many of the senior teams around the town. Before you used to fit with me and Tots for the over 35s, but bring us on that.
Yeah, my most that I can remember, my main playing days would have been Silverwood under Toby. I spent the most of my football there. Later on, you say you get a bit older, done a couple of stints at Lurgan United, Thistle. Done a stint at Tignab and Harps, actually, we done very well. Actually, I think I had fallout with Toby. I went and played the second half of the season with Harps, and I remember actually doing very well. We had a great team. Jerome Eggers, Squares.
Yeah.
John Paul O'Hagan. Real good players early. Hard players. They were probably late 20s, maybe early 30s, whereas I was only, early 20s. So they were good hard men. If you're going to say Farmar somewhere, yourself, and you travel away and head up there, it's hard.
Absolutely. And some of them, the likes of Squares, are still scoring goals for Lurgan Celtic.
Oh, Jesus. He's like a fine wine. He got better ways. He knew what to do. He didn't have to sprint there.
No, that's
very talented footballer, Squares. He doesn't get enough recognition for how smart he actually is.
No, Peter Pan. I asked him a secret weapon, and he told me it was a case of Magners and 20 Regal filter. So
that changed, worked for all of us, didn't it? Yeah. Me especially. Friday night you're out to all hours and you're playing football on Saturday, no problem.
Well, that's it. The joys of youth. The joys of youth. Didn't happen so much. You saw a few trophies picked up along the ways in your senior days. Silverwood was a successful setup in their time.
Yes, at that stage now there was great footballers come in. I can remember a lot of poor down ones come in. Snowball Kelly come in, Wee Chivers come in. I think I would have been mid-20s at this stage, and I sort of got my nose put out of place. I thought it was better to play seconds. Bit of organs maybe too on my part, which never works. And I think at this stage I went to Tignab and Harps and played a half a season. I think John Lawless had came into civil at this stage and had his own ideas. Sprickenizens would have been his nephew, so sort of moved on. I think Dermy Kearney and Marty Heaney actually took over the Harps.
Yeah.
I think I might have played a year there, and I think I maybe took a year out after that. Yourself, you sort of lose the whole, especially that's the word you were playing with all your mates more than anything. It was a real bit like the Wimbledon team in the 80s. We were the crazy gang, like where we all went out and started out together. It was real good lads, like.
No, absolutely. I think in fairness, Tots can reflect back, but our Oxford Sunnyside team of a time, like there was a maybe 5 or 6 year window there where it was just pure camaraderie, pure all in it together. The times you'll look back and remember fondly.
When you look at when you were at that stage, it's easier coaching young fellas and stuff because you try to make them buy into it. It is these people you're going to spend your Saturday night with.
Exactly.
Especially Richie and Lurgan. There's that many teams. You want them rates to shirt the odds on a Saturday night. Bragging rights.
In fairness, that's a valid point. We have talked about 2 or 3 teams there, and neither of them exist anymore. You talk about having too many teams in Lurgan. Even just as recent as last year or this year, Derry Herc went out of.
Derry Herc, yeah, big team. I think there was too many teams. It's not room for everybody.
Yeah.
Especially with the amount of Gaelic teams too, and Gaelic is a massive thing in this town too. I mean, some great players will come and play off season or whatnot, but I think the more Gaelic goes on too, it's become so professional, Richie, isn't it? It's near coming a yearly thing rather than.
Oh, it really is. There's no break. There's no break. If you sports, it's just it overlaps and everybody's just active all year round. Yeah. Used to chase down the 2 or 3 week break in the summertime to go again, but you don't even get that.
Yeah. No, definitely not.
You don't even get that. All right, so then, Stevie, your transition into management. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you would have been about for the birth of Pat McGibbon's TTBS sort of project.
Yes, we would have been there from the start. I would have been a coach the very start, so I'd like to. There's no point in me taking credit for that. No, the very start of it, my son, he signed for them.
Mm-hmm.
He remember Pat doing a big talk and the Ashburn, and he really sold it to me. What he thought, and he has his background too, obviously. So bought into it, and Richie's like around that age, boys just want to play with their mates. They don't understand that age, what they like to. So a lot of them at this TBS team, and sort of, it works season, and I think at this stage I sort of given the football up. You need something to replace it. Richie, football's like a drug and a habit that you were doing. Saturday was your day, family man or not. You went to your football on a Saturday, came back, maybe had a beer or two, and then you maybe scored a tap in, but you're coming home telling the wife you scored a 30-card screamer. But sure, it was all part of it, wasn't it? It would have been a decent goal. Come the end of the night, hit it from 30 yards. But we all done that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Talking about football matches, Tats, how did Sunday go? I've only heard brief fallouts.
What was that, the Liverpool Spurs match? Or?
No, we'll talk about that later. The over 35s match.
I don't know. Yeah, well, we got beat. I think. Stephen, did you play in the very first over 35s match?
I did. When me and Richie were actually speaking about that, I was there for a few weeks, sure, and I was training away. But then, do you remember, he's my cousin too, Gary McConaughey, and they were training on a certain night, but I was training my TDBS team on the same night, same time. I was all, can't come. He just put me out of the WhatsApp group, says, that's all right, you can't train, you can't play. Oh, ruthless. And that's family. Ruthless.
He treats everybody the same, but I think you might have been at that very first league match that we played against Crumlin United, and we won. So that was our very first match. That was August.
You scored it actually.
2021.
Yeah.
Would have been. Yeah.
We haven't won a league match yet since then.
From it, must have been your lucky charm then.
Need you back, Stevie. Need you back.
Well, here, if I'm playing that in Gary McConaughey, that's one over. I have him then. His fault.
Back in the day. But I know we got beat. I think it was 5-2.
Who was playing?
We were playing Mollusk. they weren't a bad side. They had a couple of good players, but I don't know if the score was a fair reflection. But anyway, the management team of Conor Lavery stepped in, and he said before the game, lads, just keep her tight first 10, 15 minutes. Don't do anything stupid. Just a typical sort of managerial curse. So just make sure you don't say that statement before any of your games. We were 3-0 down after
Sorry, haven't
3-0 down after 15 minutes, and yeah, we got it back to 3-2, but then they scored a couple of late goals. But
something
yeah,
similar to our game on Saturday. But I wish I had done this last week when we were supposed to. Richie, your fault.
That's it. My fault. Listen,
Two games on the bounce.
We'll raise Goodyear up. We'll celebrate Goodyear now. We'll
No
talk about
worries.
the bad time.
I have to build this up now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Stevie, you said you got into coaching then through, obviously, involved with the young fella, TTPS, and then obviously you had many successful years as a coach, under 19 football most recently, and then took the step in the senior football. But give us a throwback to, was it yourself and Toby were running after TTPS under 19s?
Yeah, that was the under 19s. Toby came in, he made a massive, but over the years, I started off, it was me and Addy McConaughey had took them. I think they must have been under 11s, under 12s. I would have done a lot of the coaching at the time, and Addy was sort of the manager, because I'd only come out of playing, so you sort of, it was fresh in your head. You're more doing what your coach has done, it's just, you're just replicating it.
Yeah.
And then Addy had moved on, maybe a year or two later. So Morris Thompson came in and helped me 1 year or two. And at this stage, Richie, the youth team, it breaks into like a championship and a premiership, to give everybody some sort of thing to play for. But that year I took over with Morris, we won the championship. So I remember saying to them, if we keep this wee team together and build on it, maybe add one or two, not kill it. We could do something, but it had to be, we had to keep them together. So we won that championship, and that was the first. And then I think maybe COVID hit Richie later on there. But I remember at this stage then Pat approached me and I bring to Pat coaching wise. I wouldn't have been that good year if I hadn't been under his blessing or hadn't spoke to him, out of respect.
Yeah.
I think there's enough in football maybe nowadays. Loyalty. But the year Toby came in, I'd worked with Toby, as I said, they were my best days playing for Silverwood under Toby. He said he would come in, help, be joint managers as such, and I was like a breath of fresh air. We brought in, that year we brought in James Moore, plays for the Peters. I don't know if you know James. And Rogan McVeigh, you would know of. And I mean, you bring in two players into your team, Ethan McKenna as well. They were the players that would have been originally there, maybe went different places, Gaelic. But that year, Richie, we were unstoppable. James Murray, he's probably the best player I've ever coached. He shouldn't have been at that level, but he loved playing with his mates more than anything. He's another one trying to get it down to Goodyear, but I hope I haven't give some club an idea. But that year was fantastic. We won the league, and I mean, it was a very hard league. You had Craigavon City, very strong team. Lurgan Town was strong. You had a couple of Irish League teams, Warren Point, Lockgall, well-run clubs. No disrespect to anybody, but, on your day, it's 11v11, Richie, no matter.
Oh, absolutely.
It is. You win your cliche, but if you win 7 of them 1-1 battles, pretty sure you win the game, But that year, the under-19s was just, it was unbelievable. We won the league, won 2 cups, and we're actually beating the other cup final by Samiris on Friday night. But it was absolutely fantastic. And then we done loads of fundraising stuff, and we took the team to the Foyle Cup. And believe it or not, they actually got we got the final of one of the shields. I can't remember which one. It was nowhere near the cup or anything like that, but it was a final, and it was something to look back on.
Oh,
we got a silver medal of some sort.
Oh, fantastic. And then, so obviously the natural progression for you was to step in then to senior management. So how did the Goodyear come about?
It was sort of, we'd been speaking about it for a few years about trying to get this senior team together, with obviously it wasn't in public domain at the time, but we always knew about the pitch was beyond coming. You know, it's good news for the town too.
Mhm.
I sort of say I would need a senior team, but it was probably a lot harder to build a senior team than maybe get a job. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but there's a bit of a connection now with the TWS, you know, sort of the same thing, mental health, smart to talk. Brandy Cure would be a big ambassador for it, you know, he'd be the second team manager along with Connor Dorn. So it was like a normal progression. I thought, if I can take that, you take a lot of players with you. Because a lot of them boys would be very loyal, you know, they've never probably knew anybody different, you know. So I think over the summer then would decide it wasn't going to happen at TWS. So I was nearly going to go back down to grassroots and have, you know, Mark Murda had asked me about a good friend of Mark's. We're actually on a stag do over St. Patrick's weekend, and I thought about it. I was for doing it. And then I just thought, you know, I don't know if I can go back and do this all over again. Maybe a new experience, what I need before. You're not going to do this forever. Like. So
absolutely. So new challenge.
It's new. That's what it was all about. If you don't challenge yourself, you'll never know what you're capable of. You know. I was on holidays then in July, and a few mates, Fergal McConville and a couple other ones, had asked, you know, I hear you're taking over Goodyear. So people had said it was time before I knew. But just the next day, Collie Toman asked me was interested actually taking the reserves with him at Oxford. But I'd actually just met Brenton, Connor, and a few of them about the Goodyear job. And it wasn't more football, it was just sold to me. You know, you can bring who you want in. And I must give Connor Hockey a big mention. He had been also offered sort of the job as well. And they asked us, would we be happy enough to come in as joint managers? You know, I didn't personally know Connor, but classify him as a friend now. You know, it's really, really, I can't actually believe how good it has went. You know, he gets on with me. He's a nice fella and likes his football. You know, it's working. Results mightn't tell you, but again, we're a young team. We're building. You know, doesn't happen overnight.
No, absolutely. I know Tats has a few opinions or a few questions on joint management. Maybe has anything to throw in here?
Well, I've only been doing it for 2 months, so I don't know. No, joint manager with Toby too was it works. I think you can't do it on your own. It's impossible.
Yeah, no, that's it. Richie's only saying that because I always bring up Gerard Houllier and Roy Evans. Obviously, that didn't work out.
Yes, that was probably the first of its kind at that stage, wasn't it?
It's probably the first ones, that I kind of came across. Yeah.
Would that have been late 90s, would it? 97?
Yeah, that would have been it was after the World Cup in 98, 98-99 season.
Yeah, didn't work. No, another person I must give a big mention to would be Sean McCann. You know Sean Ritchie, the painter.
Yes.
Now, Sean wouldn't have took anything to do with the football. He was there, and he was always there right until, you know, the end of the TWS season there on the 19s. You need them people because people have families. You can't make it every night, including yourself. You know,
absolutely.
Sean was there all the time, no matter what. He would say to me, if you need a comb put out, I'd do it. You know, he was through it the whole time. That was including Addy and Morris and Toby. You know,
brilliant.
I was trying to get him down to Goodyear, but he's probably busy on a Saturday afternoon. You see, it used to be Saturday morning, and you had the rest of your day to yourself.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. No, fantastic. Listen, we are on a timer here, but if I get a hand over to Tats, maybe Tats will get a rundown through your season to date and your infancy as manager at Goodyear.
Yes, Tats.
I was just going to ask you as well, that kind of initial meeting then you had, obviously taken over, you were saying you were sold by the club. I'm sure they were probably sold by your plans as well. So do you have plans? Do you have like a target this season, or what you hope to, where you hope to take Goodyear in the next couple of years? Or
when I first took the job with Connor, it was they were sort of relegated last year. I don't know if you've seen the whole reconstruction of the league. So my initial thoughts was I was taking a Division 2 team. So the initial would have been promotion.
Yeah.
Without doubt, you know, a team going down from Division 1 to Division 2, you have to be your target has to be promotion, you know. But then that obviously changed. Now, the first division to me this has got to be the most competitive. I folly the Mid-Ulster always have, even when I wasn't, you know, coaching senior team, but to me, it's a really, really tough league. There's no hiding places. The date it's been hard, but performances have been there. One of more really upbeat about would be there's plenty to work on. Don't get me wrong, but there's plenty to work with. You know, it's the first time I've ever had the choice of picking 40 players. It's always been you had 18 hardcore, 18. If there was a Gaelic match with a school or something, you were punished. You know, you did have the belief all boys would come in, but when you're playing a big team, you want your big players. You know, it's like everything, isn't it?
But I think you're right that the Division One, looking at it, I was actually saying to my dad before the season began, I thought this was probably going to be the most competitive Division One in a long time. And you look at the two sides that came up, Lurgan Celtic and Mainwell, and then you throw in Hill Street,
Oh,
Coal Island, Ballyorn,
yeah.
and along has started the season strongly as well. And you Sandy Hill as well as another. God, they had a great season last year in the cups.
Yeah.
We had them on last year, so it's a tough league. It's a bit like Intermediate A in the sense that you don't get there's
Everybody
no
can beat
game
everybody.
to look at. It's a bit unforgiving. There's no game you're looking at going, geez, that's an easy 3 points. Every single game home and away is
Definitely. Well, the
tough.
season started off. We never really got together. I was away this July, and you know yourself, you're maybe only getting going again because everybody's went holidays and other things and whatnot. So you're maybe going into the season. This isn't an excuse, by the way, but you're probably only getting to start the end of July. Second week in August, you're probably playing your first or second league game. You know, you probably have that. What's the one? Gerald County Cup. Like it probably starts. I think it's the end weekend, July, first weekend.
That's right,
And
yeah.
then so we probably only had 2 or 3 sessions. Tried to get as many friendlies as we could. And then we were dealt. It was a real hard fixture. That's how we were away down along. And do you want me to go through the games and sort of I want
Yeah,
to?
you can take
I'll
your
do it
yeah.
quickly, but away down along, we were leading right until the 70th minute, and I think the discipline went 3 red cards to cut a story short. Got beat 5-3. Well in the game. Our second game, we played Mainwell up in Allen Hill Park. Great night, good crowd. They went 2 up after 15 minutes, I think it was. We cut it down to 2 as Barry the Heads, but we got a goal straight away. And like, I may be being a bit over for us, but we lived in their half the whole second half, and then they broke away and got a goal at the very end. Again, played Lurgan Celtic in the game, winning 1-0, 70 minutes, and then a fella played Silverwood with Big Johnny McAlinton. He just banged a hat trick. Would never take our chances. Played Hill Street to beat us by the goal. It's very unlucky now, but in between, I was saying to you there with 2 cup runs, so it was just to tell the lads, take the shackles off, enjoy it, play without fear. It's a cup game. One was the Junior Cup. You're not going to win it. Let's be honest. But a nice, good run can always be a good platform. Mid-Ulster Shield's probably one you're not, good cup run, then maybe you talk about it, but starting the first couple of rounds, you don't think you're going to win it, it's more to build a couple of wins together. So we played a good team, Cullybacky, beat them well, and then the week after that we beat Archview, the Newry team in the cup.
They're leading, Karen Bain, yeah.
Very good setup, and I thought it was going to build a bit of momentum, and then Saturday we were just, there's no excuses, we weren't close to them. Sandy Hill were playing, they just battered us.
Great side. Guys, let me press stop here and call you back. This is just going to run out. All right? Give me 2 minutes.
No worries.
Back.
100%.
All right.
All right.
Right, boys, rattle out. Tat's messing about at the start. Took up our 40 minutes.
Was that right? I thought he ended, did it? Oh, flipping hell.
How's you were, Stevie?
Yes.
What were you on to? You were talking about the 2 cup games, and so we're going to end on a positive.
Yes, so ending that, it was a great season. We had the Foyle Cup. It was good lads. Maybe deserved it. Maybe we thought because the whole team was basically under 18 with a really good team, the following year. But it was just like everything. I think maybe that's why I moved on to senior football. It just sort of not fizzled out, but it just became. You didn't want to overdo it. I just thought it was the good time to finish, and as I say, I took a lot of lads out, but then with university and all, just it's probably something I need to do myself. Big challenge, new challenge.
Absolutely. And you touched on the start Goodyear had there. So run us through it, just the good and the bad and the ugly.
Like I said earlier, there's a lot to work on, but there's a lot to work with. A lot of young players have brought, with me. There was still a good couple of senior players there. Stephen Fox, big mentions, captain this year, great footballer.
Yeah.
You've Anton Dummigan there. You've Paul Corey there. Kieran McGinn. There's good, strong lads there too. Seem very genuine lads. It'll help bring them young lads along.
No, fantastic. The men you've just mentioned there, we've had obviously Anton has experience as manager for Goodyear himself. We spoke on the podcast with him a while back. Stevie Fox obviously has played with us all and is still top of his game. And congratulations to Stevie Fox. I believe he's going to be a father again for the second time.
Just found out on Saturday. He did say to the lads after the match.
Yeah. So very, very good. No, good nucleus, as you say, the experienced heads and the young. It's interesting you say about the university element. Boys 18, 19 head off to university. You'll catch them on the flip side. They'll come back in wanting to play football at 23, 24.
But this is it. I think when you've played football, it makes it that late. I won't say easier, but you understand a little more. Look, listen, this is amateur football. Boys will work. Boys have families. Boys are at uni. And then you'll know the boys are bluffing. We all know them within your teams. You do catch on. I think there has to be a happy medium, but also at the same sense, I've been on that side of it too. I trained twice this week. Why is he playing?
Yeah.
You get that. It's one thing I was never really used to, Richie, coming into senior football. It's already happening, but that's the way it is. I wouldn't be happy being a sub. You want to play.
Yeah, 100%.
But with underage, you didn't have the kids telling you what to do. Maybe, you sort of had run-ins maybe with parents was the difference then, That's another thing.
It's a different fight for you, different fight.
Yeah, definitely.
See us through there, Tats, before we spin the wheel and talk about his Keepie Uppies.
No, I was just going to ask you, Steve, what about, you've obviously went through underage management. Do you find a difference between the two? There's obviously a pressure, I suppose, to an extent, getting results, but you're more about sort of player development. Do you find, though, with managing now Goodyear first, there's a wee bit more pressure in terms of you need to get results? Are you trying to maintain Division 1 status, or?
I think more when you do underage, it's not that you respect it more, but you're there because you're a volunteer. Such, don't get me wrong, you're still a volunteer at Goodyear, but it's up to them as they want to keep you. I think when you're doing underage, it's up to you if you want to stay. I think in that sense, I've never ever been in this position. So yeah, it's results based. It's no different to being Premiership football. At the end of the day, you need to win games, or somebody else has to come in and try and change it. So yeah, big pressure there. But I just think, I got the impression was this isn't going to be something that's going to change overnight. It's I wouldn't say a long-term process, but maybe a couple of decent cup runs, safety this year, add a few faces in. I'm excited about it. I was more nervous at the start of the year, but I'm a bit more excited. You know who you can rely on. You know who you can turn to. The club's the structure of the club's fantastic. I've got to admit, when you were doing underage football, you're probably booking the ref, fees, paying their fees. You were booking everything, pitches. Then you had to tax all the parents as well as tax all the young fellas because they're now they're 18. They had their own phones. A lot of running about to do, And now you have comment systems and everything friggin' thing. It's mental.
That's it. Now you have a backroom team, have you? Have you people doing that for you? Obviously, you can concentrate on.
That's the main. It's all everybody pulls their weight, and people do different things. I just think management team maybe you can do it on your own, but in the back of it all, I think when you're a joint manager, it is good to back each other with ideas and touch wood. But I don't think we've had an argument yet. It's sort of we're both in the same thing. I think the both of us coming from the outside in. You're not there to make friends as such. You're there to pay the best players, and regardless of age, you're old enough. or you're good enough, you're old enough. That's my sense of it. I think at the start there was a few senior players who were a bit, I wouldn't say arrogant, but these are only young fellas. But I think when they played a match or two, do you know something? These young fellas are all right. They'll hold their. They're the future, Richie. They're the boys
Absolutely.
going with Boston to town. That's
Absolutely.
hopefully.
And that's the as you say, Goodyear in the past have been kind of like a stop block for players or players that are without a club.
Yeah.
But now if you have a youth structure there that you can lean on, or if it's TTBS or whatever, you've got a stream of players coming through. The future is going to be bright. Your future is going to be.
Yeah, as I say, I'm hoping to build it. Well, we are, because obviously I have a good relationship with Pat, and it's there. And plus, we're the same colours. We're yellow and blue too. We call ourselves the Yellow Submarines at TTBS. So maybe it's a wee bit of luck.
Oh, very good.
Great footballers there. I have to agree.
Brilliant. Brilliant. We ready for Keepie Uppies?
Let's go.
Right, Tats, have you the list there in front of you? Is this on me?
No, I don't think that Keepie Uppies is your thing, Richie. Come on.
I like when somebody passes the buck.
So, Stevie, you've done your homework.
Yes, well.
Yes, these were sent to you. So again, it was up to you as a player or manager or both. It's how you want to answer. All right, so we go straight in with the first one. Is the best team you've ever played for?
Best team? Well, has to be Silverwood. I spent most of my career there, so has to be Silverwood. Just I spent the basis of a career there with them boys, and good family man too now,
All right, best captain?
Well, no, can I say best team managed? Had to be the TTBS team of that year too also. Have to get that in. That was the best team I ever managed.
Oh, happy days. All right, best captain?
It's a hard one. Captain? Younger days, Connor Bell and Brian Toe would have been, the boys everybody looked at. Now, Brian would have been more Gaelic man. He would have played Sunnyside as maybe mid-teens. Connor Bell was always a good captain. Everybody looked up to him. He was a hard man too. If you were in ball, Connor Bell was always the one sorted out. Silverwood, Dee McStravick, Dee. He was a good captain. Dee was always a 7 or 8 out of 10 every week, so we always backed it up. Dee was a good captain. And then maybe you had Champ O'Hagan and Froggy McAvoy too at Silverwood. I remember one year was captain. But there's not one I could really name. So there's some good captains I played under.
Very good. All right, best goal scorer?
Best goal scorer? Mickey Doyle, Lurgan Town was lethal. I don't know if he's remember Mickey. Mickey's an MAF fighter now. Mickey by my age.
Yeah.
Mickey Doyle was lethal. Absolutely lethal. It's just bang, bang, bang. David Scullion I played with Lurgan Town too. Very good scorer. I'm trying to think who scored the goals at Silverwood. Michael Hawkin. Mickey Hawkin probably be the answer to a lot of these because Mickey was the best for Silverwood. It didn't matter, Richie, if he done nets.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the back line, anywhere in midfield or up top.
Yeah. And he's still doing it. He's back doing it. With one lung.
He was just lucky with our Silverwood, our Goodyear team that he was actually suspended against us, so it helped. But Mickey was still a good friend of mine.
Oh, brilliant. As I say, he's one lung now, I believe, and he's still giving it beans for Lurgan.
He trips on. Definitely one of the best now, Mickey.
All right, best touch.
Mickey Goff done that for us. Do you know Big Goff?
He was down at the club tonight, funny enough, yeah.
Oh, you would have seen the touch that man had. We would have trained. Maybe now you have goalkeeper training, but back then you couldn't. You were lucky getting 14-2 training. So we would have played, any football. Richie never done that. So he always played out.
Yeah.
Unreal touch. Chris Penny Havers is always a good touch too. Would have played a lot of football with Havers later on. Played with him actually at Tully Galley too when they first formed. Good touch too.
He's at the over 35s now.
He is, yeah.
Chris is he? Yeah, Chris. I'm sure he still has a good touch now.
Oh, yeah.
He always had give him an extra yard.
No, he was good. Yeah, it was Big Goff. I'd say Paul Kelly broke his leg on Sunday, Tats.
And he jumped.
So I was on the golf. I was like, how you fixed for nets next week?
But Bobby McCure is playing the best football of his life again. He's playing for Clonard Juniors.
Is he?
Yeah, their wee goalkeeper broke his arm or something. So he's
Right.
filming. There's an idea.
Let's get the band back together, boys.
Richie, it's
Don't
all
be
right,
negative,
man. I can't walk for days after it now.
That's all right. I can't walk when I'm playing. So
You know, it's a dodgy knee.
all right, we'll rattle through this here. So best keeper, best defender, best midfielder, and best striker.
Best keeper, golf. Brilliant keeper over the years. Always done the sticks. Never wanted to do nets, but always a great. You could always rely on. Sean Hawking, very good goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Johnny Gilbert was always good, but I think Johnny would have been a wee bit older than me. But maybe in the early days, you would have got a game on. Maybe I don't know if you remember.
I think Johnny's your age, but he'd always played a year up, did he not?
Johnny was same as David.
Sad,
But you remember we were so young, Richie. I don't know if you remember Dwyer O'Connor formed a team. It was Garland Crescent or something.
Yeah.
And I would have played when there. Johnny was a great goalkeeper. But no, Mickey Goff, I hate hands down. Defender. I said to you earlier, you played with Champ O'Hagan a lot of them boys, all great footballers. But Donny McGill at Sivwood. Donny was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He was an 8 or 9 out of 10 every week. Left back, centre back. Donny, nice fella too. He was always a warrior. But again, the football eye, Donny. Midfielder, have to go back to my silver days. Collie Rooney. Collie was a great footballer. Collie should have been playing a lot higher at that age when we were all playing, but we were all good mates. And he sort of stayed out of love and loyalty out of Toby. You know, later on he did go to Celtic, I think, but he should have been playing. Maybe not Irish League, but definitely at least intermediate, you know.
Yeah.
That's my
100%.
opinion.
He
Best
did play
striker.
with the 35s.
There's another one you get down. Best striker would have been actually Mickey Hawking. He has to get a mention somewhere in the field because he was that good everywhere he played. But when you need to goal, he's there. He was a warrior. Absolute machine. As you say, still doing it. We've won on.
All right, best left foot and best right foot. These always come up with some good ones.
Best left foot. David Scully mentioned earlier, sweet left foot. But as you guys all know from North Lurg and whatnot, Sheedy Campbell, left foot. Sheedy has to get a mention. Is he playing over 35s too?
He's disappeared off the face of the earth.
I'm playing for about 2 years.
I still see him out running though, but Sheedy left foot, that was a wand. An absolute wand. He'd have to get right foot. I think. Oh, do you know the best right foot ever? Cross the ball, great was Sean Lavery. Remember Squirt Lavery?
Yes.
Sean would have played me in Lurgan Town as well. Sean, a great right foot. He would have hit a free kick from anywhere. Very good footballer. I would give it to him.
Berba, as in Sean, Wheel of Berba, Lavery.
Yes, the very one.
The very one.
Sean was a great footballer. Sean was over at Leeds and all, and we were.
That's right.
He was indeed.
Maybe younger.
He was indeed. All right.
And David Scullion was at Aston Villa, and we were on the same Lurgan Town team. Something actually went wrong with me then. What happened? I don't know. Me and Mickey Doyle left behind.
That was that Buckfast in Anhill Park.
Oh, don't stop it. The trick of the trade. Toby Toman has to be. Probably the best one I managed with as well. Well, to date anyway. Me and Connor could maybe hopefully tap it. Means we're winning. No, Toby, best manager. 100%. Learned everything under him.
What made him such a good manager, Toby? He always came across well. Was he just a good motivator, tactician, manager, or did he whole package?
The whole package in the way that he knew when to put the arm around you, and then he knew when you need to kick up the ass. You know, you can't coach that. You need to know people. You need to make it known that you want to know them. Football wise, Toby was a good footballer. Like when we played at Sivwood and the days where Toby was playing, managing Oliver, God rest him, and Aidan Hawking, they were doing all the outside stuff. You know, it's Galatasaray just scored 3-2. No, but I mean, these boys, their knowledge of football and all too. It was next to none. You know, you just can't buy that sort of stuff. I think with Toby, his dad and them is doing all the, run about after money and all. At this stage, these clubs are probably only run by 3 or 4 people. You don't have committees or, and then it was players that got involved and maybe help it. But also, like, boys, players can move every odd year, or, you can never depend on certain people. I think that you do have your stalwarts at every club. But Jerry, Danny Hirk, he's now Celtic, Jerry Campbell.
Yeah.
But people like him and all, they go on unnoticed with people doing the background. I know it's an old cliche too, but the club doesn't run without it. Simple as that.
Oh, absolutely. The doers, as I call them, the doers.
Yeah, every bit has to. You need them.
Absolutely. All right, a couple more. Quickest player and best all-round player.
Quickest player, me.
Love
Only
it.
joking.
Love it.
No, I'd say the quickest player, similar to the game, probably Kenny Devereux. Oh, Kenny was like lightning. Kenny's very quick. Sean Lavery too. Squirt was very quick. Very, very quick. I think he broke a lot of records. Mickey's sprints and stuff.
Yeah.
Kenny Devereux too, very quick, yeah.
Best all-round player. I actually missed one there. A player that loves a hard challenge.
The next two answers are both going to be Mickey Hawkin. Without a shadow. And
Yeah.
Mickey was built like a stick when we were younger, but he was so hard in the tackle. He had wee skinny legs, and I mean, what they went through, God. He was so hard, all-rounder too. As I said, Richie, even before that, he played everywhere, including nets. He was a great goalkeeper too.
He was a kid in the park, always had a ball in the park. And
yeah. And he'd been a couple of years younger than me, and I mean, he would have been getting lumped in when we were playing football, burning football.
No, brilliant.
And Richie would have lived across the road from him, so I mean,
Carl
and
Tony lived across the road in Victoria Street. I lived around the corner in Brownlow Towers, so we'd have been in Anhill Park with Shawnee and Mickey and yourself and the brother and everybody.
Yeah, the good days, you just run loose.
That's it, just run right in the top pitch.
Yeah, Kevin chasing you off the pitch. Still happening.
That sounds right.
Still happening.
That's it. Getting
chased out of football right now, Anhill Park now, you see. So.
Okay. All right, last two. Keepie Uppies. Player that got better with age and player who always gave 100%.
Player got better with age. Square Lavery, the one, Jesus. He's a lethal goal scorer back in his day, but Squares is probably in his 40s and he was scoring 30 goals last year,
Yeah.
By that knack for goals. Shane Dorn actually was playing against us last week, or a couple of weeks ago, for Lurgan Celtic.
Right.
Shane was always a great footballer, but he's not as quick as he was, but he got cute, and he had been a good friend of Chrissy Lavery, whose son, he's playing against his mate's son now, Shea Lavery. And it was a good battle between the two of them, He maybe could have been a wee bit heavy to tackle, but maybe out of respect for his dad, he didn't hit him too hard. But yeah, Shane Dorn would get a mention there too. Got better age.
No, brilliant. Be sure when we release this to tag all these guys that you're celebrating and calling out.
I'm happy enough.
Yeah, good man. And where are you heading? You say you're heading away somewhere? You going somewhere nice?
Her brother's getting married in Canada, so we're heading on Sunday.
Oh, nice. All the Canadians can tune in then. We get it released.
Definitely. Happy days.
Stevie, thank you. Listen, before we leave, we're going to play the wheel and spin the Wheel of Berba. So this, I'll spin the wheel, but Tots will put you through your paces here. So I'm going to try and share the screen again. Let me know if you see it.
Yes.
Excited about this, Richard?
What do you say?
I'm excited about this. First time I've actually seen it, like properly seen it.
And can you see it?
Yes, it's spinning like mad now. Oh my God! So that's
there we go. No music or anything with it, Richie. Flip me.
Did you not hear the music playing?
No.
No.
It does. It is.
Do you remember the first series we used to have like this?
And the wee horn. So
this is Stevie. This is celebs go dating. So
this sounds anonymous.
You have to pick two footballing legends that you'd go on date with, dead or alive. Who are they?
Legends. George Best had to be one. Guaranteed a great night.
Right.
Yeah,
And also, what are you drinking as well? We need to know what you're drinking, who the two celebs are, and why.
it has to be champagne. If you're out with two slaves, you have to be looking the part, don't you? I'll tell you another one. I love the one out with too. Lee Sharp. Lee Sharp was probably another idol of mine growing up. He was just the original toy boy. Remember the celebration he done?
Aye.
Do you
Elvis, wasn't it?
remember? No, do you remember he used to do the two hands and then
Oh, that's right, with him and Giggs and Ince.
you
Yeah,
remember all those?
yeah.
No, Lee Sharp. I'd like to go him and George Best, two United legends. But good conversation too.
Good conversation. There'll be a few ladies calling at the table. They might be talking to you, mind you, but
I would love to actually do. You would love to have a drink with anybody. It's played under Alex Ferguson, isn't it? We actually did meet him at PBS, but obviously didn't get a conversation with him. But I'm sure that would be good conversation.
yeah, that'll be an interesting night out in the courthouse. And what are you drinking then? Oh, champagne. You said champagne. Fair enough.
Champagne,
Fair
it
enough.
has to be champagne. Has
Okay.
to be. Well, if you're going to the courthouse, it'd probably be Lurgan champagne.
All guilty of that.
The best. Original and best.
Yeah, well, this is it.
All right, we're going to spin it again.
Oh, okay.
Mad.
If you're quiet, you might be able to hear the music.
No,
No, still not hearing it. No.
simply the best.
Simply the best. Well, what's this one, Richie? Is this one you added in, or
No, this is one you added in.
No, go for it.
this is well organized, wasn't it?
This is well organized.
Simply the best.
He has to search.
Oh yes, I do remember. Yes,
I'll come back to you.
simply the best. Right? Yes, I do remember this one. So, you have to give us who you think is the best, simply the best centre back from the Premier League era. I want you to be honest here. I know you're a Man United man, okay? So I'm gonna
Yeah.
throw in I'll throw in 4 centre backs.
Right.
John Terry,
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand,
Yeah.
Vidic,
Yeah.
or Virgil van Dijk.
Before the question even come out, or you said the 4, I would have said Vidic all day long.
Oh, then why are you going Vidic?
Main reason is yes.
To be honest, I wouldn't really argue with you there. I don't.
Well,
Even
I
know
would
if
give you my main reason would be yes, it's great to have a centre back and play out from the back. It's great, keep possession. But to me, when you're a defender, you're there to defend. Vidic would have put his head where defenders wouldn't put their feet. He was a warrior, an absolute warrior. And I think maybe, don't get me wrong, Rio Ferdinand was a great footballer, but I think maybe Rio Ferdinand was maybe seen as one of the better ones because of having somebody like Vidic beside you. Actually, Van Dijk and them, I'm not saying Matip or NMs are bad footballers. They're obviously playing for Liverpool because they're decent footballers. But you imagine you had Vidic in beside Van Dijk for talk's sake. You know, that's my opinion anyway. I just think Vidic was hard as nails.
Yeah, brilliant defender. What do you make of, speaking of centre backs then, Harry Maguire? I know obviously he's had a difficult couple of seasons, but do you think kind of the criticism he's been getting is a bit?
I think it's absolutely shocking. I think he's an absolute scapegoat.
Yeah.
Really do. You can't be playing for England and overnight you turn into a bad footballer. I don't know. I know it's easy saying it, but there seems to be a lot of problems with Ten Hag. It's just if you're not his boy, then you're not playing. It seems to be. Maybe United did need that discipline too. Don't get me wrong, but I can't imagine there has to be a happy medium, doesn't it? But no, I think Harry Maguire, the criticism, that guy probably but one of his biggest critics. But you don't deserve what he's getting. You don't. You're a footballer. Like.
Yeah. I just think like he hasn't been playing well, but you know the amount of stick. Like there was a game, I can't remember what game it was recently, but he wasn't even playing in it, and somebody, I think it was
Arsenal. I think he came on as a sub, did he?
No, it was the Champions League. It was a game where Onana made a couple of errors. I think maybe it was that
it was against Bayern Munich, was it? Or
Bayern Munich, yeah. And then somebody puts up a post afterwards of like it's Onana but Harry Maguire's face. He's not even playing and he's still getting, but
just say he's a bit of a scapegoat because again, you're going for that sort of money. It's a big price tag, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. I think every team has scapegoats. Liverpool, it was
Yeah, but
Henderson.
you're
something
saying
or
there
other.
too, he's coming on, he's maybe making mistakes. He's not playing week in, week out. You need to be playing, don't you?
Yeah.
He's got
Klopp,
my
my
nerves.
good friend Klopp here, Jurgen, talks about rhythm. He talks about rhythm. If you're not playing, you don't have rhythm, and you're not up to speed. It's very difficult to, again, not play regularly and then expect to be at the peak of your powers. And
I see
Maguire,
that standard of
unfortunately, is
football.
that guy.
That's standard football too. It's big tempo,
Absolutely.
isn't it?
Absolutely.
You can be fit and then there's match fit, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to spin the wheel one more time because,
Hopefully, I know what this one is.
well, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you and hope that it actually lands on what we want it to land on. Oh, beautiful.
Is that what you wanted?
No, but we'll finish with it. It's a Manchester
ahead.
reference, obviously. You remember back, Mr. Ferguson. This is about you, Stevie Casey. Before you sign off, we wish you all the best with your managerial career with Goodyear. Give us
Cheers.
one fact about yourself that no one else knows.
A fact?
Anything. It could be a talent, your favorite film,
Right. One.
any party trick.
Not getting the party tricks. There's a specific one, but that's for another day.
I want to know what that
one
party
thing,
trick.
but as a big Man United man, my actual name is Stephen Gerard Casey. Not many people know that. My
Gerard.
name is actually Stephen Gerard Casey, obviously. So there's a fact.
There you go.
After the main man.
There you go.
After which main man? Gerard Houllier or Stephen Gerrard?
I think I'm older than Stephen Gerrard, so.
That's actually a good one. Funny, on Talk Sport today, they had that. It was like send in your name, and there was a guy who his name was Gerard, and he was a Arsenal fan. And Talk Sport had asked, if you have a name that just goes against the grain, like if you're a Man City fan and your name is Eric or Cantona, ring in and let us know.
Well, there you go. I'm Stephen Gerrard, and I'm a big Man United fan.
Brilliant.
Very good.
So, who's playing Saturday? What's the plans for the future?
Junior Cup. So shackles are off. Enjoy a cup game with AFC Antrim, and then after that, I don't think we'll have a fixture the following week, which is good because I'm away. And then the fixtures aren't out yet for the following week, so I'm away for 2 weeks, but hopefully I only miss one game.
Brilliant. I'm glad to be able to celebrate this. Stevie Moore, I'm a fan of. You're a chairman there at Goodyear. Obviously, does things in the community with the club and other ventures, Clanern or whatever the Gaelic scene, etc. So he's 100% behind you. That's all I know, and he'll be glad to get the shout out. Stevie, take care. Thanks for playing Keepie Uppies. We will keep a keen eye on Goodyear and how your season goes, and we'll do this again if need be. Nice to catch up. And despite what Gary McConaughey says, you're very welcome to train and you're very welcome to play at over 35.
That's good to know.
All right, pal. Take care.
See you later now. See you later.
See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.